at the.meri.atelier, and today is Friday, October 8th. Oh, and it's time to stream. It is time to do some art. Welcome to my desk. Let me get my tablet set up so I can say hello to anybody who comes in. I have a lot on my desk tonight to do. Woo! Take a breath, Mary. All right, let me get out here to my tablet and go to my channel and go to my stream and set it on live chat. And nobody's here yet, so that's good because I'm running late. I'm running late. Skip ads. Ha. Shoo. Oh, let me go out to my mail. I announced that in one of my streams, that I have a short FIBSville story that I'm going to tell tonight. It's a cold case story. Oh, there you all are. I see you now. Hi, Lori Loves Montana. Hi, Janet. Janet. Let's all send good wishes and good thoughts out to Janet. She's had a heck of a week. We understand, Janet, and we just hope that it gets better for you. It just seems like when it decides to rain, it pours. Hi, Ray. Lori says, hi, Pomegranate, Janet. Hi, Becky. Becky said, I'll be back in a while. Okay, Becky. Hi, Ruth Lamb. Welcome, Lan. Hi, Aunt Lamb. Welcome, Ruth. I called you Lamb. Mary had a little lamb. Ann Laura. Hi, Ann. And let's see. Becky says, have fun. Okay. All right, Becky. Whenever you're ready, we may be here. I'm going to quit early tonight. Early meaning around 10 or 10:30. And because, well, Paint Girlie's going to do a midnight sale tonight at Keisha's place, I think. And she asked if she could come in an announcement. So I'm going to let her tell you all about it. That's all I know. That's all I know. She said, can I come in and announce it? And I said, sure. Feel free to announce Keisha's auctions anytime because I do support Keisha's marketplace. Let's see. Lori's here. Ruth is here. Ray D. Hi, Ray. So, this was what I was working on for Inktober. It's been out on my desk since yesterday morning. And let's see what I want to do tonight. You'll never believe what I found. And I don't think she's in here yet. She may come and she may not. What did I do with them? Did I leave those out in the living room? Let me go get them. It's important. I got everything else. I didn't get those. I was in Ann's room last night, or yesterday. We think Facebook is having a room problem. It kicked us out of Becky's room today, and we couldn't get back in. So, but I was in Ann's room yesterday, and I made clusters. I thought I'd show you some of those, but before that, I have to show you what I found when I was cleaning. I found Aaron Rodgers. I had started this a couple of years ago for Mitzi, and I misplaced it. I couldn't find it. And I was looking through my journals. I was looking for a list that we did. I never found the list, but I found this. Now, I'm not going to work on it tonight, but I am going to work on it so I can send it off to Mitzi. Aaron Rodgers. See, I started writing Rodgers, and you can still see pencil marks, and yeah. So, Mitzi, I found it. And let's see. While I have them out here, I'll show you my clusters that I did in ends. And I've been crocheting on my shawl. That's what I'm doing today. I don't have that out here. I'm not going to go get it. But I need to put all of these clusters that I made in my cluster envelope. And then I want to put some washi tape in here. Let's do that now. Because I was out there and I'm going, I need washi tape. I think I'll put some of this Tim Holtz cigar tape in there and some of the Walgreens stuff that I don't use. That should last me for a while. And I got another Tim Holtz pack that's more writing and stuff like that. So we'll use that up for now. And this is just cluster stuff. And then I have glue sticks and looks like I need another tape roll. Let me put another tape roll in there. I was using it up yesterday. Let me just put that in there. And so I'm keeping this out by my recliner, and I'm calling them couch clusters. I'm calling these couch clusters. And I'll show you some of the ones I made. But look how full this bag is. I might need to get me a traveling trunk. Let's see if I can just keep it to that. Somebody sit on this for me, would you? All right, we'll put that back out by my recliner. And these, I saved off my cluster thing. What did I do with that? Did I write on it clusters? Hold the phone. It's here. Somewhere. No, that's Tammy Ward. I had it in my hand. Oh, everything's falling again. How is it that you can have things in your hand 1 minute and they're gone the next? I don't understand that at all. Everything but the one I want. Well, all right, well, oh, I put it up here. That's why. I covered it up with Aaron Rodgers. This is my cluster bag, which is already getting full just from the clusters that I've been doing the last few weeks with Susan Hiles. But I've been sitting out on my recliner, and I made this one yesterday. That is a paint chip, a dark chocolate brown paint chip, and one of my smiley faces, end of a trim that's been knotted. It was a braided trim and it was knotted at the bottom, and I thought, well, that looks like a rose. And so that's one of my faces. This was just some ribbon I got on sale and a piece of thread that came unraveled and an old tie. And this was a piece off of a sticker, just the little band at the end. That's my favorite one. And then I made a little boy. He's got cold brew. And this one's a very flat one. It was made out of a postage stamp. This one says 100% fab smoother. And there's a little Valentine thing, and this is just scrap stuff I had. And this says Inktober. This came from Janice Glines. I'm going to put this in my journal. It's not really something I made. So I'm going to set that aside to put in my journal. Set it over here. And this is just paper scraps. I might do more to that. This was one I'd already made. There's a vellum butterfly there and a button and a piece of glitter. Another Inktober one with a silk ribbon. I used to buy these when I was doing the thread gatherer silk ribbons. Don't buy them anymore. Here's an ATC coin I made from long ago. This one came from Deb Farrell. That goes in my journal too. I'm going to put that over there. I showed you guys this one, Extreme Makeover. It's a Halloween one. A lady. Button card. and I left the buttons on there. I think there were 12 buttons on there, and I tore half of them off and made a tag. Another ATC coin. I was in a swap a couple years ago. Wheeler Dealers, little cowgirl fussy cut. And this is the Kentucky Derby here. And it's just, this was a playing card, a 2 of hearts, the Kentucky Derby. And that's the other half of the paint chip. And then this one is a butterfly. This one's pretty large. This is more of a tag. But I'm going to put all of these in my cluster thing that's growing quite large. I'd like to make some Chinese ones to go with my Kaboodles. Let's welcome folks in here while I'm taking a breath. Let's see. Hi, Cheryl. Lori's here. Cheryl is here. Lori, did you announce your sale? Feel free to announce it. I kind of gave a upfront about it, but you go ahead and give us the details. Janet is here. Mina's here. Hi, Mina. Mina. What did I do with it? Mina, I was cleaning, and when I found Aaron Rodgers, I found this story that Mina wrote. Now, this is in a file, I believe, in FIBSville. If you're a FIBSville member and want to read it on your own, I'm going to read it. This is a little story that Mina wrote a couple years ago, I think in 2019. An October Vignette. George must be on his way, thought Freud, when Freckles got up to wait at the door, tail wagging joyously. Sure enough, George Bantry walked in only a minute later, greeting Floyd with a nod and a smile before bending down and hugging an ecstatic Freckles. George was generally a man of few words, which suited Floyd just fine since the barber loved to talk. George, Floyd noted with concern, looked very tired, and no wonder. George Bantry was a sanitation worker, what we usually call a garbage man. Unfortunately, FIBSville wasn't big enough to provide him with a full-time job, so George supplemented his meager income by taking on a variety of small jobs about town, one of which was Floyd's establishment, Crazy Cuts Barbershop. Say, George, would you like some coffee before you get started? There's still some left in the pot in the back. Donuts, too. Customers frequently found Floyd munching on a donut. Floyd's main vice was an insatiable sweet tooth. George shook his head no, adding, thanks, but not today. I just picked up another cleaning job down the street. They want me there in 2 hours, so I've got to hustle. If you don't mind, Floyd, I'll walk Freckles for you first, then sweep and mop the floors when I get back. You think about what you want me to do. Sounds good, said Floyd agreeably, already distracted by the thought of a chocolate frosted donut. Or maybe a cream-filled one, too, or maybe both. Floyd started to sit in the barber's chair to contemplate his options, then suddenly jerked upright as if galvanized by an electric current when he realized what he'd almost done. A slight shudder ran through his tubby frame, and he quickly moved to one of the other customer chairs by the window. He glanced at George to see if the other man noticed. It didn't look as if George had, what with him trying to leash up the huge spotted hound, Freckles, wearing a canine grin as a mile wide, jumped about exuberantly, bestowing sloppy kisses on his former owner's face each time George reached for him. Floyd broke out laughing at the sight, the barber's chair momentarily forgotten. For heaven's sakes, George, why don't you just tell him to sit? You know he obeys perfectly. Heck, you're the one who trained him. With a smile that eased the lines of care and weariness on his face, George looked at Floyd, then pointed a finger at Freckles and said just one word, sit. Freckles promptly sat. Yes, that does work, said George, but it's more fun doing it the Freckles way. Both men laughed. Clipping Freckles' leash on, George reached for the door, then stopped and turned back to Floyd. A serious look replaced his smile. Floyd, I've been meaning to say this for a while, but thank you for taking him. I know you said Freckles wiped out my debt to you, but we both know you and Flo really did it out of the goodness of your hearts. Things are getting pretty lean for us, and this big old galoot eats like a horse. I sleep easier now that I know he has a good home. Floyd chuckled. Don't mention it. Do you know that the very first time Flo saw your dog, she thought you were walking a small spotted pony? She likes his size. Says she feels safer with him in the house. And Floyd thought, I feel safer too. Floyd thought, I feel safer too when I bring Freckles to work with me. The ghost never shows up when the dog is here. That sobering thought made Floyd glance at the barber's chair again, just as George and Freckles left. Then Floyd wished he hadn't looked, because even though no one had touched it, the barber's chair started to spin around, gaining speed with each revolution. Hands and knees shaking, Floyd hurried to the door and leaned out to see his friend disappearing down the back. Floyd shouted as loudly as he could. Don't take long, you hear? I want to close early tonight, okay, George? He fervently hoped they heard him. Now, that's an interesting barber story. Mina, that's a fun story to read. We got a ghost running around FIBSville a couple years now. And he likes to come back and sit. He used to be a barber. And I think he was a barber in the shop where Floyd works now. And he likes to spin that chair and scare Floyd. So it's kind of like a little October ghosty story. I sure enjoy that. There's a copy of this in the FIBSville files. I ran across it and I thought I'd read it tonight. Hi, Mitzi. Did you see? I found Aaron. Mitzi. Great story, Mina, Arizona. Lori. Let's see. Lori dropped a link to Lori Paint Girlie's channel. And let's read what Lori says about her sale. Let me go up here. There's Violet. Let's see. They're saying hello to Violet. Hi, Violet. Mina's here. Cheryl's here. Annie's here. Lori. I'm looking to where Paint Girlie says, hello all. And then she says, not yet. She hasn't announced it yet. And then she says, midnight tonight on my channel. Oh, it's on her channel. Lori Paint Girl is having a sale tonight on her channel at midnight. So, I will be signing off early tonight. I said 10:30, but midnight on her channel is Eastern time. So, I have to be off here by 11 to get to her channel by 12 Central. So, I'm going to sign off around 10:30. And I did not realize it was on your channel. And then a couple of comments down from Lori is Lori Montana dropped a link to Paint Girlie's channel where the sale will be. And she was painting light bulbs yesterday, so I foresee some light bulbs in the works here. So feel free to announce that as many times as you want. Yeah, it's 10 p.m. your time. Mitzi says, can't get too excited about it yet, Lori, but nice so far. Are you talking about Aaron Rodgers? Mitzi Rogers, hi to my beautiful friend. Your team is doing well. And that's what Mitzi's saying. She can't get too excited about the team doing well. Sue Hennessy came in. She says, hi, everyone. I'm a little sleepy, but I watch until I fall asleep. It's 1:50 in the UK, and that means it's teeny wee hours of the morning for Sue Hennessy. Welcome, Sue. Hi, Ray D. Mina says, check the back room, Cheryl. I have a flat of seedlings growing there and a large part of sage for the shop. Don't sell that one. I don't know what they're talking about. Hi, Mary Lou. Welcome, Auntie Loopy. Okay, I got some happy mail today from somebody. I'm not sure who this is. Her name is, she goes by Charlie Me, and she's from Lubbock, Texas, and it says Charlotte Miller. Now, I don't know if this is part of a auction that I bought, and she's just sending me stuff. So I don't know. I'm going to open it and find out if this is something I bought or if somebody who's watching my channel sent me something. I'm always befuddled when I get happy mail when I don't know exactly where it comes from. I got surprised the other day. It was an order that I had from Amazon. But let's see what this is. I did order some things from Keisha's auction. So, ooh, this is double wrapped. So we'll find out what this is. The suspense is killing me. It feels... Oh, it's triple wrapped. Oh, pink tissue paper. Oh, look at this. Postcard journal. Wait, I gotta see. And there's a decomposition book. 100 post-consumer waste recycled pages. Who is this from? Wait a minute. There's an explanation in here. I've got some cluster fodder going on here on this little label. Isn't that cute? Somebody sent me some happy mail, I think, from a sale. She wraps it up nice. There's a card. Amelia, beloved daughter of the Sing Master and the Lion Tamer, dreamed of flying and so became a wonderful trapeze artiste. And look, there's a paper doll. An articulated one. But is there I don't know where this came from. And when she sent it to me, she did not send it to my home address. She sent it to the post office. And the post office figured out who... It's blank. Who sent this to me? Cheryl, you didn't do this because you've already sent me stuff. I've got a journal from you. Who sent this to me? Meet Amelia, a movable paper doll and blank card, made in the USA. And here it tells her there's a postcard, but nothing's written on it. I don't know. Is there something in here? Sample testing. There's a thank you on it. Sample paper testing for your pens. It's a Midori style. It says postcard, but I think it's a Midori style journal. And there's a decomposition book. I didn't order this. If I would have ordered it, she'd have my address. Another story begins. Mary, is there a return address? There is a return address. Her name's Charlotte Miller, and she's in Lubbock, Texas. I don't want to give the full address. But there is a return address on there. But she sent it to our main post office. you know, in a small town, and they put it in my box. She sent it to Mary Abrams. So she meant it for me, but if somebody purchased it for me, I want to know who did it. Who did this? That's who probably mailed it for the auction. Somebody bought it in an auction, maybe? The only auction I've been to recently, we'll see, unless it was an auction I haven't been to, is Keisha's. And I wasn't there to see that if anybody bought this for me, unless they bought it after I left. But if it's Keisha's auction, Keisha knows my address. So this, I'm not sure where this came from. Somebody bought it for her, Mina. Story, please. Janet says, PM her and maybe she can let you know. I don't have I can try to find her on Facebook. I just have a street address. I don't have an auction address or there's no, this card just is a thank you card. There's no, oh, there is. Studio Rose Boutique at Etsy.com. Studio Rose Boutique. If it came from Keisha, I would know because Keisha has my address. Keisha would give her an address. So it had to come from somebody else's auction. I'm hoping somebody will step up and say, I did it, Mary. I did it. This is beautiful. It's stitched. It's fabric and it's stitched. And this is sample paper for testing your pins. And it's got this, it's done Midori style where it's got the elastic. It's got places for two signatures here. And beautiful paper in here. But no hint as to who did this. So whoever did this, if you're listening, thank you, thank you. There's nothing on the card that was enclosed. No information. Blank postcard, blank card. I love this doll. Whoever did this, I've been very blessed by it. Beautiful. And a decomposition book. A decomposition book. And this is, look, it's speed it takes to leave orbit, warp speed, fastest baseball pitch, and then it's got a bunch of, here is a space to write things. And it's just books that you can, and it's stitched down the center here. But it's got a very steampunkish cover. This is in fact, I have a book of electricity that I was going to use for the it's in the other room, I believe. I was going to cut out of it for the clusters that were last week, the distress ones, but I never did, and it will go really good in that decomposition book. Thank you very much. Yeah, go to the Etsy shop and leave a comment at the Etsy shop. At least leave a thank you. Ask her to tell her that I received the package and to thank her for the beautiful work and to forward a thank you to the person that sent it to me. Unless they're out there listening and want to chime in and say, Mary, it came from me. When you go to the Etsy shop, there's an option to ask or leave a message to the owner of the shop. That's a good suggestion, Janet. That will be what I will do. That will be the story, Midori. The Midori story. that will be the Midori story. Now let me go back to my chat here. I got out of my chat. Let me go back to my channel. Oh, there's that mosquito. He's going to get it. I got out of my chat. Hold on a minute. Hold on a minute. I'm typing in here. I'm typing. I'm typing with one little finger. A while back, and I believe it was November of 2020 or November of 2019. Let me put the link in here. Paste. All right. So our story tonight is a cold case solved of a shadow mystery story that I started telling in either November of 2020 or November of 2019. We spent that entire Friday night on a list. And I looked in my journals from November and I can't find the list. I might have put it in, I have a list journal, but I can't find that either. So you can see I got a little bit more cleaning to do. But if you remember that mystery story, what I remember about it is in the story, I was walking around FIBSville and I kept feeling this presence watching me, and I'd turn around and there'd be nothing there. There would be nothing there, and I'm going, and so I started asking in my story, in this link where we're talking about the shadow mystery, I was asking you guys if you've experienced the same and what you've noticed and what you've seen, and boy, we had 7 pages. We had 7 pages. It took up the entire stream almost. I was reviewing the replay of it, and I'm going, wow. We talked all night just about the shadow mystery. So we're not going to talk all night tonight. I figured it out. You know what it is? I figured it out. Let me get it. It's a mystery where I put it though. Oh dear. The shadow is not really a shadow, you guys. You know what it is? Do you know what it is? That presence that always seems to be there and you feel it, but you can't see it. It's gnomes. It's gnomes. Yeah. We just discovered a gnome community in the last couple weeks of when Ruby Rose was saved by Bandit from a polecat. So the mystery has been solved. And I was looking at it and I was amazed because we spent that whole Friday night with 7 pages of chatter about what the mystery shadow was. And I didn't listen to it all in detail because I was being called to supper. And so I finally got to the end of it. And we all had different experiences. And that makes sense if there's a gnome community in FIBSville who really was not ready to make their presence known. And so if you're walking around FIBSville, you might turn around and feel like there's someone watching you, but you don't you can't, there's nobody there, it's not a ghost. It's not a ghost, especially in FIBSville. Well, it might be Floyd's ghost. Floyd the barber has, I don't know what his name is, Mitzi, the ghost's name. You'll have to fill us in on the ghost's name if you're listening out there listening, Mitzi. But it's a gnome. So we're going to get to know through Ruby Rose more about this little sneaky gnome community that's running around FIBSville. That's my FIBSville story for tonight. I told you it was going to be short, but it fits perfectly because I never finished. All I know, there was a lady in a pink dress. And so we must have, somebody saw a lady in a pink dress and somebody saw a man doing this. And, you know, no, it was gnomes. It was gnomes. We might have a gnome lady in a pink dress. Know your gnomes, Anne says. What did Mitzi say? Do, 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 do. Cheryl, Becky checked in later. Yeah. Yeah, Becky's okay. Becky's okay. She said she'd be back in a while. I don't know. She had to go do something. She was in our chat today. She started a chat. And Ann and I were in there. Jill was there. Who else peeked in? Ann came in. And somebody else, Mary Lou, Auntie Loopy was there. Mary Lou had to leave. And then it was just Becky and me for a while. And then Ann popped in and we were chatting. And then I heard this beep, 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 beep. And then everything went dark in the room. So, and Becky tried to reopen the room. We tried to get in. Something happened with Facebook rooms. And I think Ann opened a room and then it failed on her. So something was happening with the Facebook rooms today. But Becky was there. She was fine. She was setting up an Inktober page is what she was doing. She had a Wendy's for lunch. A Wendy's salad, and she took all the chicken out and gave it to Scott. And then she gave him some of her French fries. I think Scott ate most of Becky's meal. Hi, Jill. There's a gnome with a gold beard. It probably is. Let's see. No Lori. Lori. And now we can love gnomes. I have a little gnome that was made by Lori. And I had it out when I had my dolls out. Let me reach for it here. Of course, he's way up on the... I put him back up here on the shelf, and he's on the top spool. Let me grab him. This is a little gnome that pink girly Lori made. Isn't he cute? Let me get up closer to you. He's made out of a little sock, I believe. No, he's felted. He's a little felted gnome. Isn't he cute? Little felted gnome. This is the sock. Little baby sock there. I got this, I think, last year. And I named him, must have named him when I was showing him off. We named him, I put it on here, Fibbles, Fibbles. And I wrote Paint Girly on there so I'd know it came from her. Fibbles. So this is Fibbles the gnome. We might have to draw a picture of him. It might be her next door neighbor. Uh-oh. My pen isn't sharp enough to go through all that paper, for goodness sakes. I don't want it sticking out and sticking me. There. Fibbles. Fibbles. He's cute. I'll put him up here with my other dolls. Okay. Lori said, I was on the phone with my mom. Did Mary figure out who sent her the gift? No. No. Well, I'm gonna contact we found out who the shop owner. So I'll contact the shop owner and let her know I got the package and thank her for her beautiful work. And if she won't tell me who sent it, I will ask her to thank the person who sent it for me. Because I can't thank anybody personally if they don't tell me. But I can thank them here on YouTube. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Let's see. Cheryl says, Jill, get your rest. She said, I certainly did. Oh, there's Beck. Beck says, I got wrapped up watching Equinox on Netflix. I lost out to Equinox. Oh, dear Becky. That's okay. We understand. Hello, Becky. Cheryl says she's watching the Protect. Stop. No more telling people what you're watching. Oh, that's funny. You can tell them. Jill said, my silly dad keeps asking him for his Netflix password, and he keeps forgetting to give it to me again. Uh-oh. All right, so what am I going to do tonight? Well, I want to do Inktober, but not just yet. What I want to do next is I want to take this priority box and I want to get started on, look, this has got a compass on it. CSW ink. Oh, it's not a compass, but it looks like a compass because it looks like north, south, east, and west since 1937. But what I want to do is at least paint this. Oh, I'll have to cut this a little straighter. The covers are 7 3/4 by 5 1/4. And I want to do one more thing. This won't take long. I'm going to paint my cover black like Rosemary did. And I was showing the silk that I found. And Susan Popo was here when I was showing it. And she says, no pink. Well, the silk is very, very pretty. And I do kind of agree with her that it should not be pink for the margin. And I don't know how much fabric I need for the spine in this. I don't know. So, but I'm going to do something to that pink silk tonight. But first I'm going to cut this. And we're going to paint these flecks black. And it won't take that long because it's just painting. And it's just craft paint. It'll dry fast. And this is for the Inktober Kaboodle. Anne told me last night that last night Rosemary put the Inktober Kaboodle all together. Rosemary's too fast for me. I watched Wednesday night, but I was so tired last night I didn't watch anything. I went to bed. Well, I relaxed, let's put it that way. So I might have to cut some sides here if I can see this bending. I just want to get this off right now. And we'll measure. And it will be painted so I can mark on this. 7 3/4, and this is, don't worry about these boxes if you see me using these boxes because these came from upstairs. We didn't run to the post office to get these. My brother used to sell airplanes and he doesn't sell them anymore. And I was going to use this to do inventory, but I want to use it for the cover of this journal. So 7 3/4 by 5 1/4, I believe. 7 3/4 is, it's hard for me to see the markings on this ruler. There, and there. So I'm going to try to keep up with Rosemary, or at least finish my journal here in October, my Kaboodle. Oh yeah, it's going to fit. 5 1/4. And I can do the Kaboodle with you guys. The Kaboodle, she doesn't care if I work on them in my stream. Now I am doing a Chinese thread book, which is a class. So I can do the unopening, which I already did. I can do that, but I can't do the process because she's teaching it as a class. She's selling it as a class. So I can show you the unboxing of the materials and show you the finished project. But I can't show you all the instructions and everything. That wouldn't be fair to her. And Lord knows I want to be fair to Rosemary. Whoops, it's got to be there. I don't want to be unfair to Rosemary Morris. The gnomes would not like that at all. I think Rosemary might have an in with them or something. I don't know for sure. Jill says, oh, I'm sorry. I hope you feel better soon. Who is that? Allie Kay says she's watching from her phone in bed. Her digestive system's a little upset tonight. Oh, Allie Kay, get better soon. You're welcome to watch or go to sleep or whatever you need to do. Oh, I better mark it here at 7 3/4. It's hard to see the markings on this ruler with the light shining. So I'm going to paint this back black, and then I'm going to play with that silk that Popo said, no pink. No pink, Mary. Look, I got an interesting splatter there. And when I paint it black, I guess I need to get out wax paper. And let's see, let's mark it this way. 5 1/4. 5 1/4. And by 7 3/4. I believe that's what I remember from her stream. And I really want to learn how she does this spine on this, because it's what she calls an expandable spine. And that means that you can expand the spine so you can have thick things in there. You can put embellishments. And I would love to make some Chinese clusters and some a Chinese paper doll. I didn't get my African paper doll done. My Indian one is sitting over here waiting for me to stitch on it. That's how slow I get, but maybe I'll get this one is Chinese. This is the Silk Road journal in China. And the Silk Road, I don't know the entire history on it. I'm not an authority on it, but I do know that it was a major trade route back in the day when they they did trading, and I'm thinking like Marco Polo, not Marco Poco. Rosemary worked on her journal spine last night. I know, Ann told me. Ann told me in chat today, and I was so tired, Allie K. I was so tired. I saw she was on, and I was just so tired. I would not have made it through her stream because I had gone, not yesterday, but the day before, I had major shopping to do, and that wore me out. Major errands to run and stuff like that. That wore me out. And, see if I can get my, the day before that, we cut down branches and stuff. So I was wiped out by the time last night came around. I was wore out. I went to bed. And I was going to stream this morning, and I was up, but I just didn't feel like streaming. I thought, well, I've already streamed. I did a stream on Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday morning. I watched Janet Nash on Monday morning, and I watched Dee Dee on Wednesday morning. I didn't get to watch Becky, though, because I had to do some major errands, and that just took the steam out of me. That and the yard work. So I'm going to see if I can't catch up with Rosemary. I don't know. See, I just can't throw this stuff away for some reason. It sits in scraps all over the place. And so if you missed our story tonight, it was short and sweet. I dropped a link, let me drop the link again, to an old video in November, I think it was last year. Let me drop the link here. It was a FIBSville shadow mystery story. And the story is, back then, and we spent an entire Friday night chat on this list. It was a list. And I told the story. I was walking around and I kept feeling this presence watching me. But I'd turn around and nobody'd be there. And I was asking in that stream where I dropped the link if anybody else in FIBSville has experienced the same thing and what kind of strange experiences that they had. And you guys came up with, I'm going to have to go back and listen to that entire stream. I couldn't find the list on short notice here. I'll run across it eventually. But you guys all came up with a lot of different experiences. Well, turns out we solved the mystery. It's a cold case solved. Cold case mystery story solved tonight. Because I was thinking about it, and I was thinking about it when I was doing my Inktober, and I'm going, you know, it's the gnomes. It's the gnome, it's our FIBSville gnome community. So, that's the story. That's the mystery solved. And it makes sense because you all were having different experiences and we were trying to figure out this and figure out that. We spent a whole night on that list, a whole stream. Usually I don't spend a whole stream on one thing. I do this and I do that and do this, but that night on November 6th, I think it was 2020, we spent the entire night on that list. And it makes sense because if it's a gnome community, Of course you guys would be having different experiences. So it turns out that it's not a person at all. It's a community of gnomes. It's the FIBSville gnome community, and we're going to get to know more about them through Ruby Rose. We've just found Ruby Rose because our little bandit saved her from a polecat. He saved her from a mean old polecat. And they played for a while. Bandit and Ruby Rose played for a while, and then Bandit ran away home to the TheMeriAtelier, and she followed him home. She followed him to the TheMeriAtelier, if you remember our story. And we happened to be working we were just doing a gathering on a Saturday afternoon, and we noticed all this commotion going on in the corner. And we thought Bandit was toying with a mouse. And I went over there and I'm going, that's not a mouse. That creature has 2 legs. A mouse has 4, and a mouse has a tail. Well, it looks like it has a tail, but it's on the back of her head. It's on the back of the head instead of on the touche. And it turned out that it was a little girl gnome. And when I reached out to pick her up, she ran and hid. She ran and hid under Bandit's tail. And that's going to be part of my Inktober drawings. I'm going to get there eventually. She ran and hid under Bandit's tail. And, you know, and I told her she doesn't have to. I said, you don't have to be afraid of us. Well, you know, I won't hurt you. And so then she came out and she ran on top of his head. And that's when we got to do the most chatting with her. And come to find out, her name, we did a list in our stream. This was a couple weeks ago. We did a list in our stream, and we let I'm looking for my wax paper. What did I do with my wax paper? I have all these boxes of wax paper, and every time I go to reach for one, I can't find it. How does that happen? I need more boxes of wax paper, I think. I'm always pulling out the aluminum foil. Anyway, yeah. We ended up with the name Ruby. I can't remember all the other names. Her last name was Tinkerbell. Ruby something something Tinkerbell. And I went on with my stream that night, and one of the things I was going to do right before I closed out my stream was a technique page where it was just different styles of writing. And I was using white pen on black paper, and it was supposed to be the name Ruby, and Mary wrote Rose. This is right at the end of the stream. Mary wrote Rose instead of Ruby. And of course I was in the zone like I am now, just chattering away, and you were all yelling at me. Her name is Ruby. Her name is Ruby. It's not Rose, it's Ruby. And I didn't even hear it. I didn't even see it because I was in the zone. Her name is Ruby. I laughed so hard when I reread the chat. I'm going, boy, Mary, you really missed it. You really missed it. Her name is Ruby. And so they decided without me, they were chattering out there and trying to get my attention. They quit throwing shoes at me. That didn't work. Somebody was going to throw a shoe at me several months ago. And they found out they're going to save their shoes because it doesn't reach me. So they decided that Ruby Rose is a pretty name. So that's what she's being called now. Our little gnome girl is Ruby Rose. My name is Ruby. And so, because Mary insisted on writing Rose instead of Ruby, she's now known as Ruby Rose, our little gnome girl. And she will be the kind of the introduction that into our FIBSville stories. Where's my big paintbrush? Well, I'm looking for paintbrushes. Hold on, here's one. Of our gnome community. And so far, I've done a little ink. I'm working it up into Inktober, and I've done a sketch of her letting the cricket. There's a cricket alarm, doorbell alarm, or alarms in the gnome houses have crickets that warn of impending guests or dangers or some, things like that. Well, Ruby wanted to go sketching in the daytime. Gnomes sleep during the day, traditionally. She was visiting her grandmother and grandfather, and she thought she could probably sneak out. And so she bribed the cricket to be quiet with a piece of fabric from her sewing. And she snuck out. She got away. The cricket agreed to be quiet if she would feed him linen and paper and stuff like that. And she happened to have some scraps of paper around too. And so she was out happily sketching, urban sketching. She gets tired of just having to stay in the house and sketch. Gnomes traditionally do not paint portraits and paintings and landscapes and stuff like that. An art journal is probably not a thing unless it's designing furniture, designs for pillowcases or something like that, maybe. I don't know. But she snuck out because she wants to draw rabbits and deer and trees and flowers and bees, and she wants to, and she wants to draw in the daytime. She goes, I can't see the animals at night to draw good pictures of them, so I got to get out during the day. But she thought that she could sneak out while her grandmother and grandfather was sleeping. You know how these older people are. Well, she thinks they're pretty sound sleepers, so she did. She got out, and she was happily sleeping. She was happily sketching in her world, in her zone, like Mary gets. Happy as a lamb. Happy as a clam. Could be a happy lamb too, but she was just having a good old time by herself, drawing, and unaware that there was a polecat sneaking up behind her. Now, gnomes have a natural fear of polecats because they know that polecats will paralyze animals like frogs and save them for dinner. And they fear that same fate could happen to them. And, she had her back turned. She was sitting on a rock sketching. I got a picture of it. I did it in Inktober the other day. In the meantime, there was this polecat sneaking up behind her. Well, lucky for her, our little kitty Bandit happened to be up in the tree watching this happen. And you all know from the story that I told at first that Bandit wasn't going to let that polecat get the little gnome girl. Bandit stepped in and grabbed her from the polecat. Of course, I guess the polecat went his own way after that. He wasn't going to have an argument with Bandit. And they played for a while in the woods. Gnomes and cats, especially wild cats, I guess, are not known to be friendly. And so even house cats, gnomes kind of stay away from them. So it's going to be interesting when Ruby Rose's grandparents find out that she was saved by a cat. That's going to be an interesting thing to work with. What's going to happen then? Well, anyway, it came time for Bandit to go back home, so he started running back toward FIBSville. Well, the little girl gnome was not going to have that, so she followed him. And they ended up making that commotion over in the corner, and that's where we got involved, and we learned the whole story She told us the whole story of how Bandit saved her. And we named her, we asked her name, and she wouldn't tell us her real name. So we made up a list of names, and we asked Random Org what her name was. And that's how she got to be called Ruby Rose. Well, that's the story so far. That's the story so far. But now it's starting to make sense of this cold case November 6th story where I dropped the link. Let me drop the link again just for you folks. There's the link. About a year ago, I told a FIBSville mystery story that it was a cold case. It never really got solved. And we've got another cold case out there. Who killed Joshua Charles Young. We had all these cold cases in FIBSville, let me tell you. Well, that one's still on the books, but we figured out this week that it really wasn't. And you guys told me all these experiences that you have, and it makes sense because it's a community of gnomes that are the mystery people. You guys came up with all these different sightings of mystery people and all of this, and I'm going, well, it makes sense because it's a whole gnome community. So we're going to have fun introducing the gnome community to FIBSville. We're going to put a little magic in our story, a little fantasy. And you know, I was at the park the other day, and I looked out at the city park. It was a city park. And I looked out to the park. I almost took a picture of it. But I'm going, this is a perfect setting for a gnome community. This is a perfect setting for it. And I go, I wonder if there's little gnomes underneath these trees. Anyway, that's bringing you up to date in our FIBSville stories. Now, what I'm working on tonight, for those who came in, I'm working on the October Silk Road China Kaboodle. Maybe I'll get this one finished if I work at it. But you know, I'm doing Inktober too. Let's look at chat. Mina says, I like it too, Riri, more fun. Let's see, Mina says, both species give scent glands that make them stinky. Riri thought, I thought a wild domestic male cat meowing on a pole. And it was oh. The pole cat, a wild domestic cat on a pole. No, it was like the skunk. It was an actual pole cat. It wasn't a male cat on a pole. Oh dear, who said that? Who said that? Mina says, in Europe, stoats and weasels are called polecats. In America, skunks, who are related to stoats, S-T-O-A-T-S, are called polecats. No, this was a real polecat in our story. However, we may keep that reference for another story. That's kind of funny. All right, so these two will be glued together. And so let me get another sheet of wax paper out. Let me tear this off here. I need my ruler. Or a ruler. I don't know what I did. Here it is. So I have been learning a whole lot about gnomes just by reading that book. You know, they are fantasy. It is fantasy. Um, it's fantasy. But it's fun to have a little fantasy in FIBSville because FIBSville is an internet group. It's us on the internet. It's a fantasy story. What did I do with my wax paper? Here it is. So I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to experiment. I'm going to do a mad scientist experiment. You guys might run when I do this. You might shut your eyes. Be prepared, because I'm going to do something a little rash tonight. No, I'm not going to light a candle. Although I do want to light a candle in that big jar, I'm not going to do it tonight because I'm not set up for it. I got too much stuff on my desk. We'll do it another night. Here, let's just rip it here because I don't want. Oh, come on. What is a polecat? Hi, Artie Dar. Welcome, 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 Artie Dar. Did you get your journal? I got your album. I got my album this week. Boy, do I am in love with it. Artie Dar got the album that I bid on and won, but the one I really wanted was one by Colorado Blue Skies. I had bid on it and I was second. Well, she decided she didn't want that. She wanted to trade it in for something else. So Rosemary let her. So I'm going, I want it. I want it. And so I got the one that Blue Skies. Where's my other cardboards? Yeah, they're slipping down the... And so I got the one I originally wanted. So Artie Dar got the one that I won because she was second. So it all worked out perfect. Hi, Tim. Welcome, welcome, Tim. And that reminds me, we were supposed to have a live stream hop today, but I don't know. I canceled it. There were several people who could not make it, and I really truthfully was not prepared. I didn't get the playlist done. However, I do know what I'm going to do now. The theme is diorama. So we're going to be making dioramas next in November. We're going to be doing dioramas. The only two I think that are were ready for it tonight was Beth Schuler and Vanessa were ready for it. The rest of us were busy folks, and we just weren't ready for it. I personally was not ready to do a live stream hop tonight. This is the second Friday, and it's the 8th of October. It's kind of early tonight, this month. I think it's on the 12th next month, the 10th or the 12th. I forgot, but it'll be the second Friday in November. This gets a little messy. But Rosemary said, you want to paint the edges. If you don't, it'll look sloppy. I'm going, well, Mary does sloppy. But I am painting them out. The edges, the cardboard edges. There's a mosquito around here who wants me for his snack, I think. He's been flying around here my last couple streams. He lives in this room. I'm going to let this dry and do this one. So if you haven't found Rosemary Morris, you're missing out, let me tell you. She does Kaboodle kits every month. And she does an excellent, excellent job. She has several of us now who just live for these every month. I've got enough. Well, I started buying them last September, and I just can't quit. Every time she comes out with a new one, I have to have it. It's terrible. It's a sickness for which there is no cure. So but let me tell you, it's a good sickness. It's a good sickness to have, because, you know, I have them all filed now. Well, I got a couple that aren't filed. I need to file the Stargazer one and the Indian one. She did an Indian one, but there were several that she did before I started buying them. I don't have them all. Boo-hoo! But I'm still working. I started last September with the sewing. She did a fabric one. She calls it fabric. I call it sewing, because mine's all sewing related. And I'm still working on that one. But, you know, I'm having fun with it. And the one she did in February, I believe, was the Santos dolls. And I did in fact, I did several Santos dolls, and I even did hers. But I didn't get the little journal made. So I still have the kit and everything to make the little journal. And I'll do that. And the Art Nouveau one, I was looking at that. I got the cover all done for the Art Nouveau. And then I've got the little journal that goes inside of it is what I'm working on. And it's not far from being complete, my Art Nouveau one. It's not that far from being complete. And I just wish I had more time, because I would like to do a doll for every one of these Kaboodles. It would be so fun to have Kaboodle dolls. So far, and I'd like to do stencils too, because I started an Indian Kaboodle doll, and I did an African lady stencil. But now this is China, and I would love to either do a China doll or a stencil. But, you know, I'm doing Inktober. Things just pile up on you. You know, and marry somebody who, ooh, I want to do this, and ooh, I want to do that. And pretty soon it's, ooh, 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 I'm behind. Ooh, ooh. But I'll have them to work on if I'm bored. If I ever get bored, I'll just pull out a Rosemary Morris Kaboodle kit, and I'll get unbored real fast. Unbored. And now she's doing that, and I do want to do it because it'll go real nice with my stitching stuff. She's doing that Chinese thread book this month as a class. And and she's doing a photo, these old Victorian albums with where you put the pictures in the, you know, the slots, the cabinet cards. And she's doing one that just is a regular journal style, but she's also doing one that converts into a music box. Just awesome. And I really don't know if that one's going to be a class. I think it is, because I think you have to buy the class to have bought the journal that she offered. So I do think it's a class. So if I do that, here again, I can show you the unboxing, which I already showed you the journal. But then I'll take the class, and then I'll show you the finished piece. Because that's only fair to our wonderful Rosemary. Anybody who teaches, you don't want to work their class online. All right, I think I'm done with those. And we'll just put these aside now and let them all dry. Now I want to fool around with the spine stuff. Let me put these together here. And I'll put this in my water, which will get all dark and gunky. And let's see, I'm going to throw this away. I'll put my, ew, ew. Let's wipe this off. My paint, my black paint is so watery. I haven't figured out why this particular bottle of black paint. I know I didn't water it down, but it is juicy. It's some juicy paint, let me tell you. All right, let me put this aside, and I'm going to have to wash off my hands because they're black. I don't want to handle that fabric with dirty black hands. So, and if you watched Aunt Beck, and when she streamed last Wednesday, day before yesterday, you would have seen some a beautiful fall leaf. She stamped leaves on, let me get out a towel. She stamped leaves on painted papers and then cut them out. And she made this really neat, really nice art journal page. I mean, it turned out nice. I wish I could have been in the stream. She is starting a fall journal, I believe, with 6 envelopes. And she'll probably put the supply list out there. I haven't had time to check. If she's around, you might ask her about it. I saw her come back. There she is. Next Wednesday, we are going to make a quick letter-sized envelope journal. Do you have a list yet, Becky? A supply list yet? Six envelopes and old paper pad you have laying around for a while. Well, isn't that interesting? I picked one off of the stack that was falling down. What did I do with it? Right here. Right here. And I could probably work some of this up into fall. This is kind of like vintage writing romantic. This is romantic novel. So I guess mine will be a romantic novel, but I don't see much romance in here. I just see roses and notepads and notes to self, things I love, alphabet page. So that's probably what I'll use. And then you need 6 envelopes, inks, and whatever else you want to decorate your pages with. You have that pad. You love it. It has all sorts of embellishments to put together. What did Anne say? Hi, Beth. Hi, Beth Schuler. Welcome, welcome. Glad to have you join us tonight. Let's see. I'm trying to see what Anne says. Rosemary worked with clay on a stream. A recent stream, Anne? I got today. I was showing it in the chat room. I ordered a bucket of Crayola air dry clay, white. I want to make a Santa Claus doll this year. I want to make a large one. I want him to be about 2 feet tall. And Aunt Beck said, make sure that you start out the head with aluminum foil. So I'm going to do that. And I'm going to sculpt his head. And I got one wire hanger, but I think I'm going to have to go to the hardware store and get some armature wire. I'm going to put him on a base. And I don't know if I'll fiber fill him or just make a cone-shaped jacket, and then he's going to have, he's going to have a fabric jacket with fur trim. If I can find some fur, you can probably buy fake fur. I don't think you can get fur collars on coats anymore. They're pretty much, unless you get it at a garage sale or something. I don't see many coats with fur collars anymore. Even fake fur. You used to see that in the 80s and 90s. But I've always wanted to do an antique Santa doll. And I ended up buying one when I was still, and of course it's in Wisconsin. And I bought a nice one. It's a nice doll. I really like it. I bought a really nice nutcracker. They're both up in Wisconsin. But before that, I always wanted to make one. And I think I'll go ahead and make one. Or at least get a start on it sometime. I doubt that I'll get it done this year. I mean, get all finished, but I'd like to get a start. I ordered that clay for that Mary, so we will see. Oh, yeah, I'll do it so you guys can see the doll. Janet says, okay, Cheryl, I thought you meant that we needed a beginner in order to work on the kits. Oh, Cheryl said, Rosemary sells the Kaboodle kits, and I want a beginner one. Cheryl, I did forward that on to Rosemary. I didn't tell her that it was you. I said there was a suggestion in our stream that she do a beginner Kaboodle kit. And I said I thought it was a really good idea. And so I said that's why I'm passing it on to you. I don't know if she'll do it. She said, yes, it is a good idea. So, yeah, I think it's a really good idea. So I don't know what her plans are. You know, if she's like me, Cheryl, I have to tell you, sometimes when somebody suggests something, you're right there with them. You'll say, oh, that's a great idea. Thanks for inspiring me. And you take off and you go do it. Sometimes you say, that's a really great idea, but you're involved in whatever it is you're working on at the time, and you're kind of put it on the back burner. And, you know, you want to do it, but you may not be able to work on it right away. But she does know about it, and she did think it was a good idea. Tim says, anyone ever made a Christmas wreath? I have a blank wreath that needs some decorations, but I don't know how. Oh, Tim, you need to get with Aunt Beck and Janet Nash. They both made, Aunt Beck made hers out of fabric. I think Janet Nash did too. On a wire, she had a wire form, and she made a beautiful wreath. Now, I was thinking about a fall wreath, some from stuff outside. My plants are all drying up. I'm letting them dry up. I quit watering them. And I'm going to see what I can find that I can tie all the fall stuff together in a circle, and maybe even you have a wreath form probably, but I'll probably have to make a wreath form. And I'm thinking about tying all that fall findings that I have. We got some corn stalks out there. And make a fall wreath. Cheryl says, Paint Girlie's channel has a sale tonight at midnight Eastern time. And Lori gives a link. So it's 9 o'clock here. I still have one thing I want to do yet tonight on the Kaboodle thing. And this is where I'm going to get wild with this. You guys might want to close your eyes, because I don't know how this is going to work. I was looking at silks for the Kaboodle, and I found this one. Now this looks pink. It's gold on one side, beautiful gold. Maybe I could use the gold instead of the pink. I kind of wanted the red of it. I think this was a piece, I do think this might have come from Journey. But what I was thinking about doing, close your eyes. See this red ink? But now that I look at it this way, now this is not quite 5 1/4. My hands are clean now. Let me get one of these that maybe it's dry. I could make this fine gold. And do you know Ann, are you in here? Ann Lar or Allie K? Do you know the size of the piece that a fabric that Rosemary used for the spine? She made it. She made it. And there's Ann. She made it last night. Do you know how big the spine piece was? I'm wondering if I have enough here for the spine. It's a expandable spine, and I think she had 5 folds in it, so I think I might have enough. See, it folds up like so. Like, I'm thinking something like that. So I think I have enough. Tim says, I just have the wreath I bought from Michael's one year at a Christmas sale. Janet dropped a link to where Becky made her large Christmas wreath. You might want to check that out. But Chris, I'll bet you come up with something. I'll bet you come up with something good. Thank you, Becky, for dropping the link, too. And Beck dropped the link for bows for wreaths. Beck has a Grenier wreath. Riri says she makes all her own wreaths. Dollar Tree makes anything possible. Janet says, Mary, can you explain what a beginner kit is? Well, now we're talking Kaboodle here, and a beginner kit would be whatever Rosemary would determine for a beginner Kaboodle kit, but I would think that it would be something something like, well, you know, Rosemary, even when she binds her journals, generally does a really simple binding. But gosh, I don't know if I can explain what I think it would be, but I'm thinking that she could just do a simple binding, maybe go through some of the steps of, I don't know, of how to make a simple journal, maybe determine a theme for it. I don't, you know, that's a good question, Janet. Rosemary would probably be, and even Rosemary would probably have to sit and say, okay, these people, it would have to come from a viewpoint of somebody who's really never made a journal before. And, we know what a pamphlet stitch is. And we know generally how to punch holes to get a pamphlet stitch and what a signature is and what a folio is. I would think that a beginner Kaboodle kit would explain all those things for somebody who's never made a journal before. Maybe explain why she calls them Kaboodles, and just come at it from somebody who's never worked on her Kaboodles. Maybe explain her approach to them. There's several ways that you could go about that, but I hate to put words in Rosemary's mouth because she's the expert. I'm not. But I would think that it would come from a viewpoint that you're talking at a very elementary level of journal making. Probably something, I would think that even Cheryl would probably be more intermediate than beginner. However, that's just my opinion, because Cheryl knows what a pamphlet stitch is, and what a signature is, and what a folio is. So, and to tell you the truth, I'm just spitting out my thoughts here. Rosemary may have better ideas about beginner Kaboodles than I would. I think Mary should make a run to get a carload from Wisconsin. Boy, I'll tell you, that's tempting, Beth. That's really tempting. I have to tell you, while I was in Becky's chat room today, we had people come out to give us an estimate for the floor. We're going to have hopefully have it. He's still writing up the estimate, but I'm going to contribute to that, so financially. So it's a matter of me finding not only the finances and a place to put it, it's also finding the right time to go. There's this COVID variant going around. I have both my vaccinations. It's too early for me to get the booster. I have my flu shot, but it's just not quite time for me to bring stuff here yet. I don't have space for it here in this house. You can see I'm still cleaning up my studio. I'd have to rent another storage place down here just to find a place for it. And I'm just not quite ready yet. So I was thinking of inking this. But as I look at this, I could use the gold. Let's see what Ann said for the size. I was asking her if she knew what the size was. Allie K said she's not sure. I don't think, Ann may be looking it up. Let's see, Aunt Beck said, I prefer working at Michael's. All of her kits came with instructions through her streams. Yeah. I just wondered if you knew, Ann, what size of fabric she used. Right offhand. Because I think I'm going to use this piece no matter what. I'm going to try just a little bit of red ink here and see. I think I'll try it on this side. See what happens. Ooh, I do kind of like that. My cup is in the way. Let's see how this soaks through. I need a clean brush. Let's brush it a little with. I'm just going to do the edge here and see what happens to the other side. I want to make it more red. And it is soaking into the fabric. Oh, I don't know. I like it as an edge. But I kind of like my gold. I'm testing. I can still see after I'm not sure you guys can see, but this is kind of like a design right here, an oval design. And I can still see it here. Let's dry this out and see what happens to it when it's dry. And that's really all I was planning on doing with this Kaboodle tonight. I need to go watch Rosemary's. I watched her stream on Wednesday night, but I was too tired last night. Oh, it's drying lighter. I like that. I'm not sure I want to do that on this. I did it on the edge just to experiment. This is a nice silk piece. This came, I think this, oh, it's melting the fabric though. I don't know if this is silk. If it melts, it's not silk. It's not silk. It feels silk, but it's not silk because it melts. That's how you know when something is silk and isn't. If it melts, it's a man-made fiber. If it doesn't melt when you heat it up, and it started to melt here. So as pretty as this is not real silk. So let me hold this up closer to the phone. Let me stand up here and show it to you guys close up. See, you can still see I put ink right on the edge here, and you can still see the gold peeking through. Especially right on this one here. But see, I heated it up with a heat gun here, and this is the way to test. If you want to know if a piece of pretty fabric like this is real silk, hit it with a heat gun, and if it gets hot enough and melts, you know that it's a man-made fiber. So this is not silk, but it still is a beautiful piece. I really like the gold. I like this. Now, when Popo saw it, she said, no pink. And that's what I thought, that I would ink it up with some red. I kind of like it, but, you know, I kind of like this. This is not for Popo. This is for Meri. I like the gold. I like the gold, but, you know, I am partial to this. So this might be what I use for my spine if it's large enough, because I think that'll make a beautiful, and the spine is accordion. So the spine will go fold, 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 fold. I think she had several folds. And then it's between the covers, and then it's hooked across here. And that, as you build it, it can expand out like that. Lori's got a scary pumpkin there. Janet's laughing. What are you guys laughing about? The melting fabric? Let me sit down here. I got my paper towels rolling across the floor. And my chair is catching on to my phone cord. Now let's see what you guys are laughing about. Jill said, Allie Kay said, Popo was just making fun because she doesn't like pink. You do you. Well, you know, pink is not my favorite color, but it's awfully pretty here. It's a dark pink, and it's got gold in it. Is that what she was making fun of, my pink? Because Aunt Beck sent me pink. But this has gold in it, and gold fixes everything, even pink. Gold fixes everything, even pink. Meri, making pumpkins using a large styrofoam ball and orange fabric squares like Becky's wreath. Is that what you were talking about? What you were laughing about? Riri says, if you can't find the styrofoam, get a ball. Actually, Lori did show old sweaters and stuffing them with stuffing, tying them into pumpkins. Are you talking about Lori Paint Girly? Cheryl says, I saw someone make junk jewelry tree. Janet using small pine cones painted green. Jill said she just started crafting. Dusty Rose. There you go. I love that. Dusty Rose. It's not pink. It's rose. It's rose. It's not pink. It's really pretty. I really do like this, even if it, and I like the reverse. You know, when you do accordion style, when you open this up, when you look on the inside, you'll see gold. When you open it on the outside, you'll see Dusty Rose. So I think I'm going to use this. And this will, I'll either cut it off or use it, you know, as a inside piece. And I'm really happy that it's just the right width for this journal. It's just the right width. I don't have to worry too much about trimming it down, a little maybe. So this, and I don't, you know, I'm not going to make it any thicker than this. This is what I'm going to use. I do have this. I have two pieces. I think Journey sent me this one. I do think this came from Journey too. I'm not sure about these two. If these came from Journey or if there's something I accumulated. I know Journey sent me some beautiful fabrics. This is beautiful too. And now this is gold on both sides. And this is gold on this side and kind of a gold and black on this side. This looks very Chinese to me. This does not look as Chinese to me. This has these flowers in it, floral. But this to me looks like it could go into a Chinese Kaboodle very easy. So that's what I'm going to use. And if I had if I had the rest of this tie, I've used this tie several times, I would be using this. But this is just about all I have left. I have some other scraps of it, but oh well, here we go. That's my Kaboodle stuff for tonight. No, I'm not going to put that on my desk. I'm going to put it on my cart. Allie K says, Mary, see my comments at 9:10. 9:14, 9:13, 9:12. I love when you give me the time, Allie. 9:10. Score every half inch. So this happens to be approximately 10 1/4. So let's just go 10. So I could probably get, well, I'd probably have to have a half inch for the edges. So 9, let's just allow a 9-inch. We'll probably have to have some for attaching. So 9 inches would be, if I left this much and this much, that would be 9 inches. Right about there. So every half inch of 9 would probably be, I could probably, well, if I went every half inch, I'd probably only get 4 signatures. I would rather have, but 4 signatures, depending on your pages, you could make at least have 4, depending on what she gives me. She gives pages, 2 pages. If I could get 2 pages to a signature, I don't know what she does. I'm just saying, if I could get 2 pages of a signature and 4 signatures, 2 pages times 4 would be 8 pages, and if I could get 4 pages, that would be 32 pages in that little mini journal. That would be enough. Thank you, Allie. Riri says, oh well, then, go to Dollar Tree. There are a number of bases, wire, grapevine, straw, and more. Brocades are gorgeous, Aunt Beck says. Tim says, I will do that. Lori says, have you made the pumpkins with a square of fabric and a toilet paper roll, plus a thick stick off of a tree? No, but that sounds interesting, Lori. Riri says, yes, pink girly. Riri says she suggested using plastic bags from stores bunched up for the filling. They're talking about pumpkins, making pumpkins. Mary, making pumpkins using a large styrofoam ball and orange fabric squares like Becky's wreath. All right. Riri says if you can't find styrofoam, get a ball. Actually, Lori did show using old sweaters and stuffing them with stuffing and tying them into pumpkins. Allie K says, the journal, each signature is sewn in the accordion valleys. Okay. So I could see that's why she has 5, well, every half inch. So if you sew into the valleys, if I could get 5 mountains, I would have 4 valleys. I think if I have 4 valleys, though, I would want 4 pages instead of 2, because 4 times 4 is 16, and 16 times 4 is 64. Now, it would depend on, but this is an expanding journal, so it should be able to hold 64 small pages, because it will go in and out. I'm planning on, well, I'll have to experiment. Well, my cardboard's dry. She glues them together on her first stream. Wednesday night, she glued all hers together, but I'm not going to do that tonight. I want to move on to something else, because It's 9:30. I would like to be off of here by 10:30 Central, because Lori Pink Girly is going to have a midnight sale at 12 Eastern midnight on her channel, and I'm going. This is going to be really pretty. I am going to like this. So I'll work on this again another day soon. And I love that Mina called this Dusty Rose, not pink. It's Dusty Rose, Mina. You saved my day. And I'm just going to wrap this up in my wax paper, like so it won't. And I have one more thing I want to do tonight, and it will probably take me the rest of the stream. And I have water tonight and Diet Squirt left from supper. We had bacon sandwiches tonight, and they're always, that bacon is always salty. All right. So I have been doing little gnome, Ruby Rose gnome. This is Ruby Rose. This is where she's bribing the cricket alarm to be quiet so that she can sneak away to go sketching. And I do think I'm going to leave this just like this. I was going to go back and color all this in, but that's where I was when I did it. And it's all ink. This is Ruby Rose's. I wanted to expand her shoes because you can't see her shoes very well. Luckily for me, I have a lid on this water, but I don't on my pot. So let's arrange things here. So you can't see her shoes very well on this page. They're just, I know where they are, but they don't show up very well. So these are Ruby Rose's saddle shoes. They're red and brown. And she's got mismatched socks, just like Punky Brewster. And then we did a sketch of the cricket. And I don't think I'm going to go back and color this in, too. This is Inktober. This was all done in ink. I used a reference photo off of Unsplash. And then for day 4, this is already day 8. This is day 4's. This is day 4. Here is where... And I wish, if I could do this, if I could refine this, I would have our cat looking more down. Right now, he's kind of looking out. Maybe he's looking out and saying to the viewer, saying to us, do you see what I see? I think there's a polecat sneaking up on little Ruby Rose, and she doesn't even know. See, she's over here in her own world. She's in her zone. She's in her zone. She's sketching. I think she's either sketching a bunny rabbit or maybe a little bird. And she's just in her zone, and the polecat is sneaking up on her. Well, the polecat, when I was sketching this, I could not find the photo that I wanted to use. Let me get it. It's in my Society of Idea Collector journal, which I hope I brought it in here. I have to turn around. Here's my gnome book. Where did I do with my... I might have not... Is it up here on my desk? No. I don't think I brought my Society of Idea Collector journal in here. Let me look over here. Make sure. No, I think I left it out in the living room. But anyway, I had a really good picture of a snarling polecat. So that's what I want to do tonight, because that picture was on my phone above. I found it. And that's what I'm going to sketch tonight. Now, whether I'll get it colored in is another story. So, I'm going to show you the picture, but I will say I'm just going to show it once, and then that'll be it, and I'll sketch from it, because I'm not sure where I got the picture. If I got it off of Pixabay, or Unsplash, or if I just Googled it. And I'll show it to you, and then I'll set it the tablet back on my stand here. Let's see what you guys are saying to me. Janet says, "Hi, Rhonda." Hi, Rhonda. Welcome, Rhonda. There's Lori Pink Girlie's channel. Thank you, Rhonda. The threads do not connect the hills and valleys. Okay. Thank you, Allie K. Allie K, I'm going to go watch the video before I actually do it, but thank you for giving me all that information, because I do think I have enough fabric. That's really what I was wanting to know tonight. Do I have enough fabric on that Dusty Rose? And I think I do. Let's see, what else is going on? Jill says her mom always reminds her to take one day at a time. That's good advice. Allie K says, I think you have more than enough for your spine. If your fabric is 9 inches, you could have 7 signatures. Oh, Allie K, that's cool. Yeah, it's at least 9 inches long with at least 3/4 of an inch on each side for attaching, because I let some here and I let some here with my hands, and what was between here on the fabric was 9 inches. So yeah, I think you're right. I think I have just the exact amount that I'm going to need. All right. All right. I think I'm good with the chats. Thank you. Thank you, Janet, for putting that link to the FIBSville Art Journal story. And for those of you who came in, our story tonight was real short. I dropped the link. Let me drop it again. Was that the link you dropped? Oh, no, that's the link that Janet dropped the link to the November story. And I think it was November of last year, the Mystery Shadow story. And that's where we made a list. And the story in the link that Janet dropped, the story was that I was out and about just doing my, it was fall, and I kept feeling this creature or something watching me. And I'd turn around and there'd be nobody there. And so I started asking, we were meeting at the TheMeriAtelier for our art gathering, and I said, does anybody else experiencing this? And we had a whole list. We made up a list, and it took us a whole Friday night to do that. I mean, there were 7 pages of experiences and everything. We got into it. And it's at that link where Janet dropped the link to it. And Janet also dropped the link to Rosemary Morris. Thank you, Janet. But tonight, my story in FIBSville is we solved, it's the cold case. That mystery story where Janet dropped the link, the shadow, it turned into a cold case mystery because I never did anything with it. I went on to other things, cold case, mystery, and unsolved. But this week I was thinking, I think now that we met Ruby Rose, I think that what we were experiencing last year when we couldn't figure out what the shadow was, I think that it was gnomes. I think it all the time, and so we solved our mystery this week. Ruby Rose introduced us to a gnome community, and all those experiences were not humans at all. They were gnomes. So that was my FIBSville story tonight. Now I'm going to go get the polecat. Let me go get it. I put it on my drive, so I've got to go out there. I put the polecat in the dog folder, just so you know. And this is the one where he's snarling. The polecat is snarling. And I'm going to show it to you, but I'm not going to keep it out there where you guys can see it while I'm sketching, because I don't know where I got this. I'm going to see if there's a... Let me go to it here. Let's see. if I can, sometimes it goes down to the bottom. I gotta find it. I know I put it out. There's my grasshopper. My grasshopper. It's not a grasshopper. It's a cricket. Here it is. Oh. It's a Getty image. I don't know if it's a freebie or not. It came from Getty Images. So I'm going to credit them, but I don't know if this is, I do not know. Let me just get it out here and I'll enlarge it and I'll show it to you real fast. Because I do not know if this is royalty free, but I'm going to sketch from it. I'm going to use it as a reference photo, and here it is right here. And we're going to do this guy right here. We're going to do him. This is a polecat. This is a true polecat, and he's sneaking up on Ruby Rose. So there it is. And that's what I'm going to sketch here. And I'm going to use that as a reference photo and hope that I don't get in trouble. I don't think I will. Some Getty images are in the public domain and some aren't. I'd have to go look that one up. All right. But there you know where I got it. So I'm going to sketch, and to tell you the truth, I'm putting this in my private journal, and I'm not mass distributing this. I'm not selling it, so I don't think I'll get in trouble. But we're going to sketch this polecat here sneaking up on Ruby Rose. And we're going to, what I have him is here, and I just have kind of a quick little sketch going here, but we're going to expand that out and make him look a little more vicious coming out. Let's see, his head will come here. I think I'll do his full body. His head will come in here. His body will come up, down, around like this. And let's see, if his head is there though, he's got his feet coming out this way. So I guess I want to start with his feet and his body and make his head fit. If I do his full body. If I only do his head, I can show how vicious he is and forget about his whole body. And I might do that because he's got his tongue out like, dinner, gnome, a little gnome girl for dinner. If I paralyze her, I can have her for Sunday brunch. But Bandit happens to be watching. That is going to be too big of an eye. Bandit happens to be watching, and he's not going to stand for that. So we're just going to kind of get this polecat, and this polecat is browns and grays. So I might be able to work in a little color, a little walnut ink on this polecat here. And he's got a brownish gray area of fur coming here. And his nose is fairly wide, really wide. And his other eye kind of comes on the same level. We want this to be very defined in here though. Round. And he's got a dark area. I'm just kind of, I should get out my walnut ink and work in the walnut ink too. I have it right here. I do want to get off of here by 10:30 tonight because Lori is going to be on. that's not what I was thinking of, but I think that's walnut ink. What did I do with my other walnut ink? I have some that I have with, oh, this is Petrie. This is Petrie ink. That's more of a bluish color. Where's my walnut ink? Did I get that out already? Wait, let me make some turns of the paint cabinet here. I have this big jar of it, but this isn't what I was thinking of. I've got a big jar of walnut ink here, but I've got a smaller container that I had cornstarch in. And when you put cornstarch in it, it makes it thicker. You can write with it. Maybe that's why I'm not finding it. Maybe I should just use what I have my hands on. But you don't want to make a gravy out of your cornstarch. I'm not finding it. It's on this rack someplace. I just can't put my eyes on it. Here, no, that's the Petrie. Isn't that something? I'm probably staring right at it. I'm not seeing it. I see Mod Podge. Could be hidden someplace. I'm not seeing it. Well, I'm not going to spin this rack 20 times and not find it. I'm going to use what I have. I'll use this big jar of it. But I did want to use it. I wish that I had a little... Oh, here it is. This is what I wanted. I put it over here. It's smaller. Now I have to put this away. Luckily, I have it right where it goes. Now I have to figure out where my Petrie ink went. Oh, I've got to clean these shelves off. I need 2 more of them. Where did I get this? Right here. No? Oh, it'll fit in here. Let's put it here. All right. Mary's a happy camper again. And I'm not seeing chat. I'm like little Ruby Rose. I'm in my zone. But I did check behind me. There's no polecat behind me. So the reason I was getting this walnut ink out is underneath of his eye here and kind of across his nose is a light tannish area. And this walnut ink was made with cornstarch, but I did not make a gravy. What you do is you do heat up your cornstarch with water, but you don't make a gravy. You thin it down. You make it real watery, almost like you're making a gravy, but you put too much water in it, way too much water. And then you add it to your ink. And you can't even tell there's cornstarch in there, but I can tell when I write with it that it's a thicker ink than if I don't have cornstarch in it. But I'm not going to write with it. I'm going to use it to color out the areas. And I've got some red on that brush. Wash that one out a little. Let's see what I have here. This one's got black on it, which probably wouldn't hurt. And then I have another one. Yeah. Let's use this one. And I'm just going to dip it in my ink, and I'm going to kind of color this area in here with a light tannish color. Now this walnut ink will dry a little bit lighter than when it's wet. It dries lighter. Almost like when you have a wet watercolor and it dries lighter. So sometimes I need to layer this. But he's got a dark area coming across his nose and going up that way. And then he's got another eye And this is dark underneath his eye here. Right under there. It's all kind of dark in there. It's kind of a little thinner there. And then he's got white. His ear comes over here. And it's got a dark area in his ear. And I think I'll just kind of put that in light. Right there. And he's got his other ear. You can barely see it. It's over here in this area here. Let me. And then his nose kind of comes down. Not too long of a nose. He's got kind of a short nose. And let's sketch his eye in here. On this side. His other eye kind of, well, he's kind of at an angle. So his other eye is up a little higher. And it's kind of like this eye comes down this way. So this eye even comes up a little bit higher yet, more like that. And it's got a little white spot in there. I might have to go back in with my whiteout pen. Now I can come back in with my ink and put in the dark areas underneath of his eye. Kind of comes down this way, kind of in a, and then his nose happens right in here, and it is kind of like a tannish brown. His nose kind of happens right in there, and he's opening his mouth, and he's got a pink tongue, and that's what makes it so interesting. Because his tongue looks kind of weird, to tell you the truth. He's got his mouth open, and he's got a tooth coming right. Well, actually, it comes over here a little bit further, because here's the edge of his nose, and his tooth comes right here. And you know, he's thinking dinner. Yeah. And his tongue, you can kind of see a little bit of the bottom of his mouth here. But his tongue kind of comes out this way and curves around. This is all going to be kind of a pinkish color right here. And comes around his mouth, his fur, his jaw kind of comes this way. Now, he's got kind of furry hair. And he's got kind of a shaped head coming like that. And he's got a little chin that falls under. Here's his mouth area here. And he's kind of got a little chin under here. And it kind of goes up and curves kind of like so. Like that. And he's got a white area in here, followed by a dark area here, and another white area. And this is the inside of his ear here, but he's got white going on up in here. So the top of his ear is kind of white. Yeah, it's beginning to look like him. And then his head actually has a dark area over here. So he is thinking Ruby Rose for dinner. And Bandit's not going to let that happen. Let's see, then this area here really falls down. Here, white in there, white there, all in there, and his ear kind of falls down in the sink in there. Yeah. Okay, let's work on, because this area is kind of a brownish area back in here too. The back of his head. And I can just kind of, and I can actually kind of pull that out to make it look like little hairs. You know, darker area there. And it kind of curves down because he's got another ear over on this side. Now underneath of his chin is where his body starts. And it's all dark in here, so I can just kind of bring this down a little like that. But I do need that to help define his head. And we'll just let that all kind of fade into the bottom here, his body. You know, because this is kind of defining his kind of his portrait style of this polecat. And now his ear comes out. He's got an ear over here too. Part of his head comes out this way and comes down. And he's got a body coming this way. And we're just gonna, yeah. I'm not sure that that's got him yet. It's got ear here. All right. And this isn't right in here yet. Kind of comes out like that. And coming up, kind of in like so. And then he's got kind of a and you know, you can kind of layer too, to layer these inks for dark areas. Like if you could see this picture, this is all, his feet come down this way. So this is all his chest area in here. And it actually goes all the way up over this way. But I'm not sure I want to put all that in there. And I think what I'll do is write in this area. Now this area on the photograph is green. And I might work a leaf or something in there. And I might work a leaf coming down this way. I need to work on this because he's got white area and he's got whiskers. So I'm just kind of getting him defined. I think I'll get out my green. Where is that? Right here. And I think I'll kind of work some green and maybe some leaves in there. Let's sketch an autumn leaf. I think it needs a leaf in here. Let's kind of do that. And let's sketch one of these oak leaves. And we'll color that. Kind of comes like so for an oak leaf. And of course it's wet. I need to dry it off. It is 9:50. I want to be off here by 10:30, so this will be nice. Now his face is not fully defined yet, so don't let that. It's kind of not developed in there yet. In fact, his eye is rounder. I get my ink pen going here. Let me go to a page and scribble. And let's get this eye rounder. And actually, as you look at this eye, it kind of comes up this way, the fur, and down. Have to define, that's what defines him, is the shape of his eyes and the ink around it. Gets a little darker in here. Let me get some And this ink, if you want it darker areas, you have to layer it. Like so. And he's got a dark area in here. And it's dark in here. So I'm having to keep layering this ink to get these dark areas defined. Dark area in here. Kind of coming out this way. And a dark area underneath of his eye here. And kind of patchy dark in here. And his nose, I'm going to have to define his nose a little bit more. His nose actually comes down almost to his lip area here. There's just a really thin white line in there between his nose, and it kind of curves around. He's got a little nostril going on here, and it's got a kind of like a little shady. In fact, I can do that with some ink. He's got a little shady area in here and up here and in there and just a little bit there. You know, he's kind of there. And then this kind of gets feathered. You need a dry brush to feather. And that's kind of hard to do because it's very, he's all fur. He's all fur. And he's feathering out here. Whoops. Well, there he goes. And it's feathered in here. And very light feathering going on here. Kind of feathering in there. A little more feathering going on down here. And he's got some whiskers. And I'm going to put those in. Now he's also got a tongue here. And I was going to put some green ink in the background. And I'm going to do the writing down here. So let's, and I'm going to do that. I guess I'll just do that with this brush. I'm going to define a background area in here. In here. And I might come in with some leaves in the background, we'll see. Just kind of make it go down to his head a little. And he actually has a body coming out here, but I don't know if I want to, what I want to do with that. In the picture, his body goes, in the picture, his body would go way up. This would be his head, and his body would come way up over in this area. So we're just zooming in on his face, but this part actually is part of his body here. So I'm not sure what I want to do with that area here to make it look right. Put just a little bit more ink on that. And close up my ink so I don't spill it. And his tongue is pink. We don't have his tongue. His tongue is pink and brown. I want to get this green area kind of in here. I think I'll just kind of put it like that. Just to get some color. Now I might work some oranges and reds. I was drawing this oak leaf and my page was wet, so I didn't get it finished. Kind of out this way, like so. Kind of expand it like this, kind of like that. Coming down into a stem. I'm going to write in there. Let's see, I think I'll try to put in another small one in here. And maybe some coloring in there. Maybe not a leaf. Well, I could, I might bring some grass up here. I don't know what to do with that. I might just put some grass and maybe make some darker grass coming down this way, because he's hiding in the grass. Let's just do a grass in here. Okay, that works for me. All right, so we're going to, on here, we're going to mix some yellow and red and green for our oak leaf. And I'm going to mix it right on the page. Might get in trouble. I'm going to layer it first. With some yellow. I should have shaken this up a little. I'm going to put some yellow on here for the oak leaf. And we're just going to, well, I got green on here. I didn't wash out my brush. But that's okay. It's a leaf, it's a green leaf that's turning yellow. So it's okay to have some green in there. I just won't need to put more green on my brush. I won't need this green that I got out. Let's put it back over here. Let's get this. Just kind of ink it in. And while that's still kind of wet, get it, the lid on here so I don't spill it, because I am good about spilling. Let's do a drop of red. And kind of spread that in there. And make it look like an oak leaf. We might get some of that copper color out, or maybe even more. I think what I did was I blotted it. Let's just spread it out a little here and blot. And do the same here. I think I need a dot more red on there. It does not take much ink. You can see I just put a dot. I just put a dot on there. And look how it's covering it. And I think I'm just going to smear some down in here, maybe some down in there. And maybe I'll just shadow in something up here. But we're going to put leaves in here. So I think what I'll do in here is just put some brown in here, and then I'm going to go over it with green leaves. And so the brown will actually, you can imagine his body coming up. It will go way up over in here, because we're just showing his head. You know, he's a polecat, so we're just getting his head going in here. And I'm actually going to shadow this in too, because I'm going to write on this part down in here. We're going to write the stinky polecat sneaking up on Ruby Rose. And I'm kind of liking that. We need to detail him a little bit more, but I think what I want to do is, I think I want a little more red in here. We're just going to kind of work in a form of a leaf. You know, just kind of shape in there. Maybe up in here too. Just got a lot of ink on there. I'm going to blot that. Yeah, I kind of like that. That's kind of where I'm going with that. Wouldn't hurt to do that same type of thing Let's get that green out. Bring a little bit of green down in here. We'll have green leaves. But I need a darker green. I need to get that phthalo green out. And then we'll work more on the polecat. Let's get the phthalo green. Which is here someplace. What's this? That's violet. What happened to my phthalo green? Yeah. Violet, purple. How come I have so much violet? Those two are violet. This is Amsterdam phthalo blue. That's black, yellow. What happened to my green, my phthalo green? Well, that doesn't work for me. Copper. Let's do some copper in there then. I don't know what happened to my phthalo green. That's violet. That's a violet. That's black. That's brass. How come I got so many violets? All my green turned violet. Maybe I would have had phthalo blue. Well, I thought I had a darker green. Maybe I put it over here. Oh, Mary, Mary, Mary. That's blue. What did you do with your green ink, Mary? I don't know. I don't know. What's this? Oh no, that's blue too. Well, I guess I'll mix some blue and green. Maybe that's what I did and made it a phthalo. I'm going to put some of this copper on here, in here. What time is it? It's 10:05. I've got about a half an hour to finish this. That's not dark enough for me. Let's put it on there though. Well, it's okay. We don't want the whole leaf to be covered. Let's take some of that and work it up here. Let's put some in there. Just let it hide in there. Okay, so where's my black? Let's mix a little dab. I need to get my wax paper. Mary's talking to herself. I need a little dab of black and a little dab of green, maybe a little dab of blue. And we'll have a, I'm going for a darker green. I want a dark green for grass. He's sneaking up on her. This old polecat. Sneaking up on Ruby Rose. We got to finish this by 10:30. Alright. So let's put a tiny, tiny dab of black. And I mean tiny. like that. And then I got some, this is actually calligraphy ink. Let's try, what's this? This is a moon violet. Let's try the green. I was going to put some blue in there. More green than black, because we're going to do grass. And we'll get to the blue here. Let's try what I have. Let's see what I get. See how that black took over that green? Took over it. That's why I just wanted a tiny, tiny drop of black. We need more green. And it actually makes it almost a green-gray color. But that's good. We're going to do some grass in here. We're going to make him sneaking up on Ruby Rose. Oh, put my hand in it. Put my finger right in it. Now that's just about as much as I want to do for right now, because I might make some more grass in here, but I think that's pretty good. I don't want a whole lot. I don't want to cover up my leaves completely. And I'll come back in and detail some of these leaves. Just let me, because my writing's going to go in there. And let's do some, I'll get a little water on this. Let's give it a little border. Yeah, just about used it up. There, that's good. I'm going to write in this area. All right, we're going to leave it like that. I might come back to that, or I may just leave it. Oh, but you know what we need? Let's not throw this away. We need to do his tongue. Now his tongue is kind of a, and here's the problem. I don't think I have a white, but I was looking at my inks. What did I do with them? Doggone it. I had it in my hand earlier. Where did I put them? I had them over here. Where did I put them? Right here. I was looking at this set of neutrals that I got. Well, they're iridescent. And there's an iridescent red that almost looks white to me. This is red. Now you tell me that's red, but as you shake it up, see, it's almost a pinkish color. Let's shake, 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 shake. And I don't know if it turns red, and I don't know if you're supposed to do it on black and it turns red. But I think I want to mix a little of this with my red ink and see if I can't get a pink, since that's an iridescent red anyway. And all of these are iridescent colors. This is an iridescent green. Now I do see a green haze in that. And this is a, I've never used these iridescent FW inks. They have a very white base to them. In fact, you can see there's a gradation here. They have it gradiated there. There's a gradation from dark to light. Well, I'm going to mix some of that with red ink to get a pink because I don't have a white ink. I need to get me a bottle of white ink. I will do that before October is over with. But we want a pink tongue. A red tongue almost, pink and red. Shake this some more. See, I can see it turning in there. But I'm just so surprised of how white it is. I can see it turning the more I shake it. I've never used, and yet these inks are at least a year old. I've never used them. So let's put a dab. Yeah, I'll spill it all over my. And let's what did I put my brush back in the water? Wash out my brush. I'm going to put a dab of red. Well, let's put the iridescent on there first. Now, I did fold this up, so there's no, you'll see green there, but it's on the inside. So we're going to put the iridescent red on here first. But it looks white to me. But as long as I know it's got a red base. And then I'm going to mix some red in it. And I'm going to see what I get. We might get an iridescent tongue. Oh, look. Oh, that's the right color, too. Well, it's a little pinkish, but... Now, let's see how it looks. We're going to do a light coat first. And I might blot it out and then come in with some... I need to put this flat here. So his tongue comes up. You know, he's smacking his jaw. He's smacking his jaw. He says, "Yummy, gnome for Sunday dinner. I'll paralyze her." And no, we'll have little girl gnome for Sunday dinner. Oh, that's perfect. Now, let's mix a little of this walnut ink with it, if I can. Because, let's see what I get when I do that. Oh, I kind of like that. Let's see. Because it gets darker down here. And around his tooth. In there. And he's kind of got a dark area. Kind of, you know, around his tooth. And kind of coming up that way. And it kind of outlining his tongue. Oh, let's blot that. Well, I'm just wiping it off. Let's dry it. He says, "Yummy, gnome for dinner." And now let's go in with some of this darker color in here. Kind of underneath of his tongue and the edge of his mouth in here. And kind of defining his tongue. He says, "I get gnome for dinner." Now, I'm going to leave it, let it dry a little. And let's work with some inks in here. Let's see, let's darken his ear a little more. Pull that out, maybe, make it look a little, well, I can't, I need a dry brush. Pull it out and darken it in here. And it's really darker around his eye. I almost want to mix a little black ink with this walnut ink because it's really dark. But maybe if I just keep layering it, and it's dark in here, it's dark in there, and it's a little dark areas kind of coming around there, around up in here, and a dark area underneath here. Oops, I worked it out. And his nose kind of is defined up at the top with just a little shading. But this area in here is white in there. Something like that. And maybe kind of coming in a little bit more. Not too much more. And then there's more dark area right underneath of this jaw area. And, let's see. Is he beginning to look like a polecat at all? I hope. A little darker area in here. I just have to keep layering it. I'm not totally happy with this yet. It kind of comes out, and this area is a little darker in here. Kind of. Just keep working with it. Yummy! Gnome for dinner, he says. Now this is really dark in here on the photo, because this is where it starts to define his body. And I think I'm going to take a dab of black. It's 10:20. I'm watching my time. And I don't know. I might want this red yet. It will probably dry up on me. Let's wash out my brush and do his tongue a little bit more before it all dries up on me. I want it a little darker. And it's really dark right in there. Actually, it's not all that light. The tongue is not all that light. There's a light area in there, but it's almost a brownish color in there. Let's put some more brown on there. And I think I need to dry it. It doesn't quite look defined to me. It looks like a red. Red tongues are weird, aren't they? I think tongues are weird things. You stick out your tongue, like what he's doing. It's kind of weird. But he is thinking he's going to have gnome for lunch. That's what his goal is. I'm going to have a little gnome girl for lunch, he thinks. All right, let's put some more dark in there. Kind of define it. And it's really dark in here. The underside of his tongue. Kind of comes up that way. Kind of the shape of the tongue. And it's dark in here. All right, we're gonna leave that, I think, for now. That looks something like a tongue. But I think I want to mix a little black now on here with the underside and mix it with some brown. And I mean a little black. And mix it with some brown ink. I got way too much brown. I'll wash off my brush. I mean, way too much black. I want more brown. So we want it dark in here. And we could even bring that darkness over this way a little. Dark area coming up this way, and help define his underneath of his eye, and the shapes on his, the dark features on his face is really what defines him. I don't want to put my hand in it. He's got a dark area underneath of this eye, over here, kind of coming down his nose, around in there, coming up here, and around this area of his nose. And I'm talking to myself. I'm really in the zone here. I'm kind of trying to define what this polecat looks like. So I hope my mods are taking care of you. I'm sure they are. I'm pretty sure they are. And if you have questions, save them for me. Save them until I come out. Let's put some dark areas in here for his ear, kind of coming down that way a little, and a little bit of darkness in here, not a whole lot. And I don't like this area here. Let me wash my brush out. And let's bring this in a little more. And let's blot that out a little. Like that. Yeah, I like that better. Kind of defines this side of his body. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Now, but this side needs a little bit more defining. I like his eye, but I don't like this area. So let's kind of do the same here, where I put it in there and then I blotted it out. Kind of gives it some shadow. What am I missing in here? Now, he does have whiskers. I haven't done those yet. Well, let's give him some dark area in here. Again, let's bring this down a little. I'm not sure I have this yet. Kind of comes out like so. He's kind of a creepy little guy. Now this is entirely too white for me, so I'm going to take and wash out my brush again. And I want a very, very light, watery, maybe put some water in here. I want a very, very light tannish color in here. I might even blot it after I get it on there real fast. Just enough so it's not white. Because he is fur in there, but he's a white fur. But you know, even the fur has shadows in it. Whoops. Well, get that out of there. And even in here, he's white, but he's not a ghosty white, and underneath of his chin, give his face some texture. Put it on there and blot it off real fast so it's not a ghost white. It's kind of it's a lighter shade of white. I mean a lighter shade of the fur, white fur. And we could put a little bit of a pinkish tan. And then water that down for his nose. A little bit of a color on his nose. I kind of like that. Maybe I'll blot it a little and come back and let's dry it and come back with some more. Is he starting to look like a polecat? He may not be the best polecat in the world, but let's come back and give his, after this darker color dries, it always turns lighter on me. Let's give it some more dark area under his eye again, and kind of coming up that way, and under this eye, kind of coming up this way a little. And just a little area there, kind of coming down in this way, kind of going that way. I don't want to do it too much, then I'll mess it up. I was going to put some more red on his nose. He can have a red nose in our world. Alright. What do I want to do next? I think I want to take some of this darker black and go into his eye. And this one. Yeah. And maybe define it a little bit more underneath of his chin. And even a fine line, if I can. Around his mouth area. What time is it? It's 10:33. I need to stop here pretty soon. That means it's about 11:33 Eastern time, and Lori Pink Girly will be coming on. I'm going to quit on this in a second because I think I'm at the point now where if I add too much more, I'll just mess him up. And I think I pretty much have him. I want to do just a little detail yet on, and I want to write polecat sneaking up on Ruby Rose. I think I'm done with this. I'm just going to toss it. I want to make sure all my inks are closed good because I don't want to spill them. They seem to be. So what did I do tonight? I opened Happy Mail from somebody who gifted me. I'll have to look at that Etsy shop again. A wonderful Happy Mail. I painted the cover for the Chinese Kaboodle, and I think I have decided what I'm going to use for the spine. Make sure my walnut ink is closed. And I'm going over there to Pink Girly's channel. Let's see, I want black. Let's just add a little bit of definition here. Maybe even around the leaves. Just draw some leaves in here and define the autumn leaves. A stem on here. And I think I had one coming up like this, kind of around in there, coming down, around, maybe some lines in here. Can't see where I'm going because of the light. And I want to give him some whiskers. So I'm going to do some quick lines there. And maybe a couple of lines out this way. That's good. And we're going to define some of this grass a little bit more. Because he's sneaking up on her. We're just going to put some grassy lines in there. I think that's good. Maybe a couple in here. And I think I'm going to call that done for now. I think I'm happy with it. So I'm going to put polecat, P-O-L-E-C-A-T, sneaking up, on Ruby Rose. And this is hashtag Inktober. I think this is my day 5. Because that was 4, 3, 2, 1. So this is day 5 of 8 so far. Tomorrow will be the 9th. Day 5. And I'm going to sign it. And we're going to call that done. because I want to sign off in time to go over to Lori. Let me come out and say goodnight to you all. Link to the FIBSville Art Journal story. Thank you, Janet. Yeah. The mystery solved. It's our gnome community. Now, when I look in my tablet, this tongue looks really orange. I don't know how it's looking to you, but this tongue is really a darker red color. It looks almost yellow-orange when I look in. And this area in here, in my tablet, looks very light. It's actually a darker color. I might smear it just a little in here. Make it a little darker underneath of his eye. What else when I look in there? It's really, and the nose could be a little darker too. But looking in my tablet, the colors do not look the same as what I'm seeing them in real life. I think I want some darker reds in here on this leaf, but I'm going to quit on it for now. I'd like this to have these darker reds kind of down here too, because I got it dark in there with the dark browns. So I might fool around with that just a little bit more in there. See you there, Laura. Hi, Laura Vasquez. See you over at the sale. Angie says, I'm calling it a night. Jill says, I don't know where it was from, where I went to college, but I think it might have been close. I'm not sure what you're talking about. Janet left a link to Pink Girlie's Midnight Madness sale. So it's 10:40 here. I'm going to sign off and say goodnight. I'm not sure I like that. I'm seeing things. I'm seeing things as I work here that I don't really like. I don't like this area. I'm going to see if I can't blot that out a little. There. Just a little. Where's my towel? Did I toss it already? I don't like that spot. There. That's much better. Good night, everybody. Let's see. This is Friday. Tomorrow's Saturday. The only thing I know that's happening tomorrow is Beth Schuler in the evening. Sunday, I think Tanya will probably be on around 1 o'clock noon, and I will be on at 6 o'clock. Have a great weekend, everybody. I'll see you over at Lori's at Pink Girlie's sale. Bye, everybody.